My next question is to Vaidyanathan, man who is the youngest, perhaps, banker in this group and is the most agile, who became retail head at a very young age of a large bank and then was headed insurance company, headed a finance company, and now pivoted to a bank which was originally an infrastructure financing bank, which is also pivoted to a consumer retail financing bank. So you've got pivot written all over your CV, Vaidyanathan. So the question is, what kind of good do you think your bank will perform now?
See, I was carefully listening to when Arijit was speaking, and I can understand all the comments going on right now in India. GDP low, demand low, companies going out of business, not able to pay salaries, and then what is the impact on businesses? It's on everybody's mind. But we should also know that after every of these crises, we look 1 year forward or 6 months or 1 year forward, that every single headline would be the reverse of what you're saying today. So if you might see that, look, sales are crashed 60%, next year at the same time, you'll probably see sales are up 60%. So the sentiment just 1 year forward would be very, very different. So I think, first of all, the key opening line I'd like to make is that the opportunity that all of us will see has not gone away. We're not going back in the Stone Age. And therefore, 1 year from now or 6 months from now, we could be seeing a very different buoyant India, and you could just feel that this is a very bad dream. So I think this one picture should be on our mind. The second picture that comes to my mind is in this context of pivoting, which is the key subject of the discussion today, is that if the opportunity is there, then the way people are going to access this opportunity is going to be very different, because everybody knows, we all talk about it, that now digital is going to become center stage. The ecosystem is becoming more and more digital. Regulator is permitting more digital transactions through eKYC, VDKYC, and all that stuff. The analytics and credit bureaus and Jan Dhan, Aadhaar Mobile, all of them come alive. So that ecosystem is now a new way of accessing the opportunity. Third thing is that, in my mind, is that if the way to access the opportunity is going to be different, in my mind, the big thing is going to be that India is going to become far more inclusive as a result of COVID, because digitization has made many things possible, and particularly COVID has accelerated a lot of things. So let me just say that, therefore, we have a huge opportunity of creating an inclusive India and inclusive banking in India as a result of this crisis, as well as digitization.
Will there, in the change scenario, post-COVID situation, will there be more focus on the priority sector? And there is another question, whether banks, what kind of action banks are seeing on the MSME lending front? Are you seeing a lot of MSMEs lining up to borrow money? What are you seeing on the ground?
What's actually happening is that while we are seeing so much crisis all around us, and many people are in deep pain, small entrepreneurs are in pain, they're not able to pay their salaries, it's very hard. But the rural economy actually has been not that much affected. We have a large rural base of close to about 3 million live customers whom we're servicing even today, and we are in touch with them. The sense when we talk to our employees who are in constant touch with all of them is that they feel that when the lockdown will lift, then their ability to service the loans will be pretty good. I must tell you one statistic, and it is very telling. When this moratorium was provided, we provided to all our rural customers suo moto. We provided moratorium, all of them, for 3 months. And of course, anybody wanted to come out could come out, because they had vernacular problems coming to internet and applying and all that. When moratorium ended just now, and rather the moratorium 2.0 came, before that we reached customers, and close to 60% of them paid straight away, no issue at all. So therefore, there is some humming economy that is going on there. A second angle that we're seeing in rural areas, particularly priority sector areas, is that the quickness with which even that area is turning digital. We always think of urban areas becoming digital, but even microfinance customers, if given an app, their ability to access it, or even pay installments through digital, that is going to be a very rapid change. And the digitization of rural India And the ability of rural India to go digital will be a very defining moment for India, and probably as big an event as the way urban India migrated. And third point to the second question actually is about demand. Demand wise, we have seen that consumer demand, meaning consumer durables, television, refrigerators, two-wheelers, these kind of demand, that is up back to 70% of what it was same time last year. Already up in the areas that is opened. But SME lending is as good as nil. So we are seeing a two-speed economy where consumer consumption is immediately picking up, but the SME lending, loan against property, business loans, 10, 15 lakh loans, that is as good as not there. So our theory is that consumption will start first, and when demand comes through consumption, that will lead to growth of the SME economy. And it's maybe a 6-month lag, is my opinion.
Let me just quickly ask you again, Vaidyanathan, about MSME. In your presentation, investor presentation at the end of Q4, you list MSME as part of retail.
Yes.
The rest is corporate, big corporate infrastructure, and MSME microcredit is part of retail. Now,
Yes.
What will your bank's approach to MSME now? Will you, increase the percentage of the asset contribution by MSME?
See, MSME is a very crucial component of our business. It's almost like the big piece in our bank. The reason why we clubbed it together is that we focus on the smaller, lower end of the MSME. Or sometimes people take even 1 or 2 lakh rupee working capitals from us for run small businesses. So in a ticket sense, it's all retail. Our sense is that this business can grow indefinitely for the next 20, 30 years. So this is a very long-term story. People who are thinking of our bank as a new bank that is starting up, they're actually making a mistake. They're not thinking about what this game can be.
Unless the COVID scare goes off, it will be very difficult to get employees coming beyond 30 or 40% because of the social distances that is needed in the office itself.
Would you like to add something, Vaidyanathan?
Well, when we see things around, I draw inspiration from many other people whom we see around us in a common life and see how they have pivoted their model. See, for example, I see gym trainers. So these are people who normally help you in the gym, lift the weights and all that stuff. And then you might tend to think that, look, how are they going to work? What kind of revenue are they going to get? But when I go out, I see them now, they have the same clients, access to them. Clients have put an iPad in front of them, and they are putting them through the paces that are, okay, run 100 meters this way, 100 meters this way, and the people are performing. And the person is somewhere else. It's not there, he's not there. And he has a client, and his revenue is probably gone up because he's not having to travel to so many gyms now. Similarly, tutors are now, instead of coming home, they're remotely tutoring, and it's probably working pretty well. Doctors are performing pretty well, giving advice over long distance and all that. So when we see all these things around us, we say, if these people can pivot so much, we are, banking system which has the resources, which has the energy, which has the capabilities, has access to technology, which has the best, capabilities, best talent of people, we can definitely pivot. Actually, I take inspiration from that.
One viewer wants to understand whether we will see more willful defaulters after this crisis is over.
The large well-known case that we know that have had problems, if you leave them aside, on the small entrepreneurs, consumer side, normally it's not willful default. As we speak, many of them are in real pain. Think about it, you don't even have 1 month's reserves, and suddenly for 3 months there is no cash flow. No cash flow. You got to feed your house, you got to pay your salaries, and otherwise you'll be tagged a defaulter, you'll become an NPA, your name will be on CIBIL, you won't get the next loan. It's a real pain. And I think people are in trouble. It's not really the willful default. And hopefully with this kind of 3 months or 4 months of moratorium that is given, when moratorium is there, but economic activity started, so that can hopefully bring them the cash to start honoring in September.
Yeah. Look, thanks, Vaidyanathan.